taste. But speaking of takes, I do have, since I have you. All right, so Twitter. I got a bunch of people who I follow that I know. There's a very short list of people that if I bring up Facebook, I know they're jumping in the conversation.
Yeah.
Damo, you. I want to get a little background. Like, I think this is Twitter's such an awful place to have those conversations because there's just such limited characters. There's no nuance to it. But even with only having 180 characters, whatever it is, you aren't mixing words. You only need like 20 really to get across your point. But I want to go kind of backwards a little bit because I've known you for a bit in VR. You and Alex doing the Between Realities podcast are always the dreamers. Like when I first started watching you guys real early, I think one of the first like visual podcasts that were out there for VR, like y'all are the dreamers. You're always fairly positive, looking for what's coming up. But then you're pretty anti-Facebook, and I think it's really fun to be able to talk to you about it. Like where'd this start? You know, with the not anti-Facebook, I don't even know. You can word it how you want, but your thoughts, when did that kind of start brewing? Because obviously it's not going to be probably when, you know, the Oculus Rift S is the prime headset. It probably starts after.
No, it like right when they bought Oculus. I mean, it was so for me, I feel like Facebook is just very evil, and the things that they do are never for the people. They're to better their agenda. They're to collect more bio data on people. It's to use you as a product and to find out how you tick and to exploit you in any possible way that they can, right? So when I saw that they bought Oculus, I was like, oh dude, because I was what are you going to do? There wasn't a whole lot of options, right? There was HTC and there was Oculus. I was really following the Kickstarter. I was a fan of Palmer Luckey. But when they bought that, I just knew it wasn't going to end up good. And now they're scanning your rooms and your houses, and they can identify you within seconds from your body movement. When eye tracking becomes a thing, it's going to be ridiculous. They have terrible security. They've been breached before. They lose people's data to whoever comes along and hacks them, right? So it's not even that they're protecting what they're collecting on us. They're terrible people. I mean, in my mind, they're there to exploit you and to take advantage of anything that they can about you. And that is a bummer for something that I love so much, right? I am so passionate about VR. It's all I think about, it's all I talk about. And for a company like that to come in and then become the prime VR company, like the VR company that's selling the most headsets, creating and funding the most experiences, it's just really sad to me. It's a bummer. And, and another thing about this is it's not just what's happening right now, right? It's also, you got to look into the future because someday someone could come in and buy out Facebook, right? They're a publicly traded company. If they get the right offer, they have to sell. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. They're obligated to sell, right?
Yeah, I just learned about that recently with Tim Sweeney's tweet about the possible hostile takeover. Who was it? Did you read that? Was it Apple? No, Microsoft. I think it was Microsoft. That there was rumors that they were going to aggressively buy him out, and I didn't know. I was like, "There's no way! Like, you're an owner, you're the CEO. Like, it's your creation. It can't just be taken." Nah. So that was news to me. I didn't know that was a thing until very, very recently. But I don't want to go. I don't want to go too far, like too quick in the conversation because I think that just paints a picture I can't even remotely come back from. What has happened? Let's put aside the what ifs, like the whataboutisms and who's doing what. Mm-hmm. What has Facebook, in your mind, have they done anything already that directly makes you believe and know that this is the bad way they're going? Is there anything that you've seen that was a big problem?
I mean, really just the data collection that they're already pulling, just the fact that they've said that they can identify us already within 5 seconds of movement. That's huge, man. That's your likeness. That's you. I mean, that's such a big deal to me. They, now they're trying to push ads into things, and we knew that was coming, right? They're an ad company. But, I just get defensive when it's something that I love so much. This, to me, it's like someone coming after my family. I'm obviously going to defend it. If I see, if my daughter were to bring home a toxic boyfriend, I'm going to yell about it,
For anyone who doesn't know, Skiva is a monster too. Don't let this like tiny screen fool you. He is the mountain from Game of Thrones. So if he's screaming at you, run. Dude, I didn't know that until the first time I saw you setting up next to Alex. And yeah, off topic, but you are a monster, man. I wouldn't mess with you if I was Facebook.
Guy, but I'm not a jacked guy, right? I'm large in stature. I'm 6'7". I'm like 300 pounds. Pretty big guy, but I wouldn't mess with your muscle. I'll tell you that.
I'm messing with you, man. I will mess with you a little on the Facebook conversation, like healthily push back in a way that at least gets us somewhere to have a discussion. So in my mind, and you know where I've come from, like, you know, I am not on board with a lot of things, and still I'm not, but I've talked about it before where I am softening up. Like, I don't know if that's because I'm getting chewed up and beat up constantly and softening up that way, or it's because I'm speaking with more people. Like, I'll tell you, when I spoke with HTC, like, that was, and I've already softened up well before that interview, but like, that's when I really, really felt that there's a big disconnect and a big difference between the company name and the people within it. That was the first time that I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm in the complete wrong here. I had some perceptions of HTC, and I still do. They're still there. But it's very easy for my mind to be made up and just hammer down until I had someone actually speaking to me directly from them, and I'm like, oh, crap, you're just as frustrated about some things as I am. You're just trying to figure it out like I am. Like, okay, the people are different. So when we hear like Facebook is evil, like, okay, but it's run by individuals, and and different people within this company are doing individual things. Can we separate it? Like, why does it have to be anti-Facebook as a whole, not the sum of its parts? Some people are really good within that.
Sure they are, but they're governed by a board of directors, and what they say goes, right? Facebook is in on some defensive contracts, doing some creating some pretty nasty technology for the government, and just because they're doing that, does that mean everyone that works for them is evil? Absolutely not. No, these are normal people, really good people. I know a lot of really amazing and fantastic people that work for them. It's the management. It's the people making the decisions and the people that put profit over people that I have a problem with, right? And you know, I feel like when things happen in industries, it's up to people that have, you know, it's up to people to have a voice and to voice what they don't like. Because once things get too out of control, it's over. It's just the way it is at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, starting at, you know, so fresh. I mean, Facebook is obviously a mega ginormous, you know, huge company, but this virtual reality thing is so new, right? If we can get, you know, if we can get enough people up in arms, maybe they'll change it instead of letting their ecosystem that they're building up die off.
I'm really glad you brought that up real quick, because that's kind of what I was thinking, but I didn't want to speak on your behalf, is the sense that you probably see it. The people who have been using virtual reality since the DK1, DK2, Oculus CV1, and Vive Original, these are the people I'm seeing the most vocal, anti-Facebook, and are voicing their, you know, opinions up. And largely I respect that, because it's the dreamers. It's the dreamers who picked up this technology when no one else was playing it, where if you told someone you were into virtual reality, you were the problem, and you're an idiot because it's not there, it's too bulky, it's awful. You know, we were the idiots. And now it's transitioning, it's becoming more accessible, the price has gone dramatically down across the board. The capability, everything's better, and now people are really starting to buy in. But they're seeing, you know, they're seeing the immediate on the table. We've been, unfortunately, by force, having to dream for a very long time, and we had way too much time to think about what could be, and that's kind of what I think some people have had a problem going past. Hit that subscribe button to stay on top of the daily clips, or catch the debates and fireside chats live on the main channel down in the video description. See you next time, Space Cowboys.